Welcome back to Close Encounters of the Tech Kind. I'm John. Heading up this conversation this week, we've got a number of topics. We're going to talk about age verification. It's kind of top of mind of a few people. I think the entire world should be aware of this one. We're going to talk a little bit about First Amendment. Okay, we're talking the United States, so hang on to your seats. We're going to talk about ClawdBot and how it's evolved into new things. And just to put a cherry on top of that, we're going to talk about data centers and the pushback that is starting to hit the world. With us this week, we've got Mike.
Hey, everybody.
We got Jackson.
Hey-o.
And Artie is behind the scenes running the show. You'll see him pop out from behind that monitor.
Sometimes. I'm going to go get a cheeseburger.
Don't leave the controls too long. We need your help. So, yeah, we're going to get into these 4 topics and go down some rabbit holes on some more, I'm sure. If you're with us, please like and subscribe. We would love to see you more often. We had a pretty awesome video a little bit ago, and our last video didn't get the algorithmic traction we were hoping. So please give us a thumbs up if you like what you see, or if you want to help us on our goal of hitting more likes than views, because we've seen algorithms go a little askew before. Well, just to jump in, age verification. What a simple thing that is, right?
Never
it's easy.
has
You
been.
just you put in your ID and you show it, and it just says, okay, yep, Mike is old enough to go to pbs.com.
.org. I'm not sure what pbs.com is. Do not go searching.
That's a good point.
Right.
I can't believe I did that.
2 different things for sure.
Okay, so put in the comments if it's a good thing or bad thing. I would love to find out, but I don't want to do it on my own. At least not on a machine I care about. So the UK enacted some laws saying that age verification is mandatory. We're going to save the children, prevent them from getting to bad websites. I'm all for that. I think this is money spent in the wrong direction, and I think it's going a little gangbusters in the wrong direction. It's now flipped on its head and turned into, instead of age verification, it's going to be proof of identity and tracking you through every site that you touch.
Yeah, and not even that. I think the law was made from a standpoint seemingly of someone who doesn't understand how the internet works. And I feel like this is a common thing that we're seeing in the last few years, is that all of these bills get announced, at least here in the US. And we see a lot of laws get passed internationally, but these bills get proposed that are written in a way that seemingly like they just have no idea the inner workings of the technology. And so the bill is either doing something completely different than what was originally intended, or oftentimes it is intended to not do what the language says, but do other things behind the scenes. Like a lot of these age verification laws, like you said, they're not really doing age verification. Now they're doing proof of identity, right? And they're tagging you as a user with a name and a face and a credit card number and you name it.
It's more exciting than that. There's a company, Persona. Anybody here know what they do? Artie, I think you know.
Yeah, Persona is basically an identity verification service that functions with government entities. They're getting into the private sector with a lot of websites. They are partnered with Discord and are going to be their go-to come March 1st.
Hang on to your seats. It connects to 271 various fingerprinting, lock you into who you are, identity tracking things. So your website, your laptop, your operating system, your surfing habits, your favorite websites you go to are tracked. Your driver's license, of course, Gmail address, all those things. And it's not like they were hiding this. Some white hat researchers got into it and followed the APIs and found 271 outbound links to other data sources. And it stitches it all together to show that Artie is flying this plane right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it feels like a violation, right? And I think the other thing about a lot of these verification laws, I mean, the one that kind of sparked our interest today, I think we were talking about in pre-show, is was it Colorado had a law that said any operating system must be required to I forget the exact language because the exact language was dumb. But the operating system is required to basically present the user's age to any app stores, so that those apps can then do what they will with that age or the app store itself. And there's just so many things wrong with it. Like, first of all, okay, well, what do you consider an operating system? Like, obviously whoever wrote it has only ever heard of a Mac or a Windows computer, because obviously, okay, yeah, Mac is Apple and Windows is Microsoft. What about like a lot of like all of the bajillion Linux distributions? Who are you gonna
BusyBox that runs on routers and everything. Linux. And there's even more esoteric operating systems that are out there, I'm sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. How about those Christmas lights that dance around and play music you've seen on YouTube so many times? That's an operating system.
My Raspberry Pi has an operating system.
Your Switch has an operating system, and your Switch 2.
Now, I know that a lot of those things like app stores and stuff, I know I've had to put in my age to have an account with the store. Like, why isn't that good enough? Why is
that's
it
what
have to be
Texas
whole
tried to
operating
do.
system?
Texas tried to do that, and they eventually backed down because they realized just how dangerous that is. If that's the thing, is we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater with some of these laws. If you require ID, okay, now my kid who might be under 13 isn't allowed to install an operating system. What about a computer that we dug out of a thrift store, 15 years old? Bring that back from the graveyard and try and install a system on there. Is a legacy OS now illegal? It's not well thought through.
You're telling me I can't run OS2 Warp?
Could you, though?
I don't know. I actually never got a chance to play around with that.
It was cool. It was really cool. But I still love the tagline. It says, "It fixed broken Windows." It was compatible with Windows operating system applications, but OS2 Warp was really cool. It just didn't get wide adoption.
For a second there, you said it fixes Windows, and I was like, my window to outside, and I was like, oh yeah, duh. I don't know why that took me a second. We've been talking about Windows. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many issues. First off, with like within the first paragraph of the language, nothing's properly defined. And even then, you're asking something that doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no practical way to implement it. And if you go back to what they claim to be the original purpose, which is, hey, we're here to protect the children. Okay, how hard is it for a kid when the operating system prompts you put in your birthday, knowing they're going to be restricted later? How hard is it for them to say, I'm 18? It is not that hard.
Or flip it on its head. If I don't want advertisements, put in a birthday that says I was born yesterday.
True.
Could be fun. But then do you have to prove it? Like, I don't know.
Congratulations on your first birthday. Here's your AARP sign up membership for.
Well, okay, so I mean that's the right question to ask, John, and I think that's where we get to persona. Is okay. Well, how do you know that you're not lying? Well, the way they get around that is like, okay, well, you have to send us an ID, and then that brings up all of these other issues of okay, well, what are you going to do with my ID? Like, what happened to the internet where it was like, you don't even share your name, much less your age or your entire ID to someone on the internet. So, and we can see that Persona is using your ID in how many was it? 271 different unique ways, sending it off. And I'll tell you what, the software doesn't even work that well. I've had to use an ID verification one time, and it denied me. And I was so mad about that.
You do look young. I'm just saying.
No, what can I do? My license is sideways, though, sir. Please.
It's just amazing that you've got a one size fits all approach to this. We're moving way too fast towards these actions, these laws, these whatever we're calling it. There's no safety. There's no guardrails. There's no. I mean, we gotta pump the brakes. Since we're getting into legislation and all that fun stuff, I'll quote Bernie Sanders. He said, "We have got to slow this down. AI is moving way too fast."
So
we're moving way too fast. Just to kind of jump the gun on ClawdBot.
I'm going to go back to the previous one. I've got one thing to say with regards to that, and that is
we'll bounce around. We'll bounce around. This could be a horrible chapter video, but
don't worry.
Go ahead.
We need people involved in the legislating process for these things that actually understand what they're legislating.
I think we need to stop being specific in legislation and be more general.
If you do it too general,
pass,
then you get stuff like
the 3 laws.
I'm referring to the age gating stuff.
And I'm referring to Asimov had the right idea of do no harm, do what humans tell you to, and just protect things. Like robot must do everything that a human says. Robot can't harm a human, and robot must sacrifice itself in order to save a human. Like simple rules. Let's start there. I'm all for save the kids. I'm all for age verification, but you can't define it. Therefore, how do you impose actions? How do you impose responses? There's no if then if there's no if. One of the. Go ahead.
I would even say, you're saying I'm all for age verification. I'm not even sure that I share that. Like, of course, we want to protect the children, but going at it through age verification doesn't actually do anything. Like, there's just no way you can lock the internet down. It wasn't built that way. And I know from experience, you can get around just about anything. There are so many different ways.
On the New York Times webpage.
There are ways around it. I'm not going to say anything, but there are ways around it.
I'm saying there's ways that you can do it, and I'm definitely for that. You don't want 12-year-old kids going into the liquor store and buying things they shouldn't. There's got to be a better way, and it's not a human checking 10 million logons on web pages or verifying that they're buying the right stuff. But there's a mechanism.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't go on Discord. Like that's the wrong direction. Discord's been an awesome place. Some tweaks could fix it. Anyway, I'll pass the microphone back. Somebody else.
Well, One
Anybody?
thing that comes to mind with a lot of this, just trying to lock everything down and they're trying to essentially baby-proof without understanding what is actually dangerous out there. So instead of figuring out, oh, well, they might get into the cabinets, they will duct tape and then, just like staple the duct tape to the doors to prevent it from opening so that nobody can get in there to access what's underneath it.
Use a nail gun, shut the cupboards. Nobody can get in there now.
Yeah. Or, one person drives drunk, so everybody has to retake their driving classes. It feels like collective punishment.
Really does. It really does.
And
save the kids. Great. I'm all for that. I'm not saying let's don't. But the number of kids versus the complete disruption of our lives on a half-baked solution that's not going to save the kids doesn't make sense.
I agree. I mean, raise your hand if you've ever been able to successfully circumvent any protections that were put there by a school or by a parent. My hand's up.
I plead the fifth. I am not here.
I plead the fifth.
No, it's just something that you got used to as someone that grew up with technology. I mean, that people younger than Jackson, the generation that's younger than Jackson, they are growing up with this technology and they know how to use it better than we do. And we're the ones that bloody well built it. So any safeguards that we put out there have to take into account that kind of ingenuity.
I mean, if you go back to the days of AOL, you had your own little safe community in the AOL environment before you get to the internet. I mean, if we really wanted to, let's start up one of those. Not that I'm advocating for a splinter net that you can't get to anything useful anymore, but give that as an option for parents if they want to protect their children.
Well, yeah,
give options for cell phones to lock into that network. Don't require it. Don't make me put my ID on there because you guys haven't figured out how to put an actual system together that supports what you're asking for. Anyway,
go ahead, Jackson.
No, I was gonna say, like, yeah, and this is leading us down another path, right? Okay, if we do go down this route, well, now you're gonna see all of these. I mean, yeah, you're creating a splinter net. Well, as every month there's more and more things that I'm realizing, like, you know what, I would rather just self-host it. I don't want to have to deal with this garbage. And so like something like Discord, where Discord's main purpose is to connect people and do things like this. As soon as you put that barrier, well, now the internet, it's not what it used to be. And if it's the case that now everyone has to do their own self-hosting, well, now you've got like, a million Discords, and you can't really, none of them do what the old one used to, which was connect everyone at once. So there's just no two ways about it. It'll either bring option A that's bad or option B that's worse.
How long do you think it'll be before we have the nanny net?
The nanny net?
Yeah, you can't get to anything because nanny won't let you.
It's turning into that. Like, I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten in the last month where it's like, you are now a child to us because until you verify your age. I mean, it is becoming pretty commonplace.
Should be opt-in.
What's that?
It should be an opt-in. It shouldn't be required. If we're saving the kids, leave it up to the parents to opt into that network.
Right?
Exactly. There are people out there that want the government to do the parenting for them. And they are in a very minority section of everything online. But it's still, well, it reminds me of the, well, you can't have that person saying that word on TV. Even though it's being said at 1 a.m., you can't have them saying that word on TV because my kid might be watching it. It's like, then look after your kid a little bit better there.
Establish
Yep.
a bedtime.
Yet your kid goes to high school and hears that word probably two
Or your
dozen
kid
times.
is 25.
Right. If your kid is 25 and still at home, then there's something else going on there that we need to address too. But
Yeah, the economy is an interesting rut right now. So
well, that's true.
can't
Okay,
shame somebody for
35.
25-year-olds at home.
35.
There you go.
35 is good. Yeah. Oh, I had a comment. I had a good one. Not anymore though.
Prove it.
It's not good anymore.
prof-
Or what?
It's probably not age.
was so
age
profound.
Probably not age appropriate. I'll need you to verify.
If I show you my ID, will you say it?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I have my own opinions about parenting, and I think most of these issues are actually resolved there, and not by cutting off branches. That is the internet. Get to the root of the problem.
Well, and see, the rules are being written with an idea of you have the family units, you have kids that are in these environments. It's not one size fits all. There are orphans out there. There are halfway homes. There are runaways. There are, children who are tried as adults because they've done such inappropriate things in society that they need to be tried as adults. It's such a spectrum. And speaking of spectrum, you now prevent people from self-searching stuff when you're on spectrums because a child isn't old enough to go look at some of the material they want to discover things about themselves. Now, I'm not going to explore that comment at all, but I just want to put it out there that we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater and preventing people from being people.
I will use an example that is viewer friendly. Some people won't be able to find a copy of something like "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret," because that will be deemed inappropriate for their age group, despite being explicitly written for their age group.
It's not people. I respect people. Our viewers are awesome. It's the algorithm I don't want to make upset. But I probably will. We've already upset the algorithm enough that we're not going to get more than 2 views on this.
The algorithm demands a sacrifice. Bring 4 hard drives and set them on fire.
I think I have 4 hard drives around here somewhere.
I can do that.
They
got
must
some
be
dead ones.
under 250 megs.
Oh,
I could do that. I think I still have my original 5 megabyte hard drive.
You could put a low quality picture on it.
A JPEG.
One whole MP3.
And it would take an hour to read it.
No, it went faster than that. But it definitely wasn't fast by today's standards. I mean, the entire hard drive would take maybe a megabyte a minute. Maybe a little faster.
what else we got to talk
So
about?
Are we done with age verification?
I am so done with it.
I wish we were.
Well, let's bounce over to the next hot topic. First Amendment. There's if we're gonna have an episode of shaking the cage of the algorithm, I think this one's it. So, First Amendment auditors. What do? They go out, they push the envelope, they film, they say things, they do things just to push the envelope to say, I can do this, and the First Amendment lets me do this. They're rude, insensitive, they're testing things out. That's great. Power to you. But Jackson, you brought this one up.
Yeah. Without going too deep into the morals of the actual act of First Amendment auditing, there is an auditor on YouTube. Artie, I don't remember. Do you know the name of his channel? It's
Let's not
Let's not
mention the
name
names.
all right. No names then. Long story
I
short.
mean, we're making the algorithm mad enough already. Let's not add this to it.
Sure enough. Okay, long story short, another creator used a portion of this auditor's video in his video on YouTube. So, in order to do that, this creator had to somehow rip the guy's video from YouTube or a portion of it. There's lots of ways you can do it. There are online tools that will take a YouTube link and it will decode the video and let you download it. You can simply basically get a full quality video by doing a screen capture with whatever software suits your fancy. There are many ways to do this. What happened is however he did it, we don't know. The video is on his channel, a clip of it, and the auditor whose video was used by this creator is now suing this creator for essentially getting around a digital lock. And I think Artie, you'll have to help me out with the legalese here. And there's a specific law that he's trying to use for
Yes,
justification.
he's using the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, and I believe the section is 1201, and it is explicitly for circumventing digital locks, essentially. So it you can't download something from YouTube because it's encrypted, and de-encrypting that is viewed as breaking the lock.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And let's be clear, this is different from fair use. And it's so different because he actually tried to file a violation of the fair use with YouTube, and YouTube upheld the creator's content and said, no, this is under fair use. He's not infringing on your creator rights. And so because he couldn't get the video taken down through YouTube, he's trying to go the legal route and sue this guy, and basically make what he did illegal. And I would say the large proportion of YouTube videos do the same thing in some way or another. People are taking clips of other people's videos and showing them, but they're not violating fair use laws or policy.
There's another
and-
layer to it as well, and that is that it specifically is going after the device, the mechanism that they are using to circumvent instead of the actual circumvention. So in this case, he's going after, he's explicitly saying there are certain programs that were used by this person. He doesn't have any evidence of what those programs are, but a few of them that were tossed out. One of them is explicitly a YouTube ripper, and another one is OBS. And anybody that is familiar with OBS, it's a very versatile program, and that's just one of the capabilities it has. But by going after the method being used, it will make that method illegal if it goes the wrong direction.
Let's split this into a couple names. So we've got the First Amendment auditor, and then we've got the guy who did the reaction video to that. Because I'm hearing audit too many times in this. I'm getting a little lost. So the guy who did the reaction video used OBS or some other video capture tool, and that is what the auditor is saying is illegal, bad, wrong, can't do that, I want money.
He's claiming that that is the circumvention method that's being used to get around digital protection. Doesn't matter if it's fair use.
So never mind the audacity of a First Amendment auditor saying you can't use my content for your own purpose. That's just hilarious. I mean, that one's too obvious to really talk too much about, but he's putting out there the idea that everybody that uses these screen capture tools and reaction videos is a felon.
Yeah, not only that, but the creators of the tools used to do these things are also felons, which I
So
think is the biggest issue there. I mean, think about all of the tools that we have that help us circumvent some of these quote unquote digital locks. And,
but it
and
doesn't
having those,
circumvent. I mean, let's be very clear there. It's not circumventing. It's letting you do a fair copy.
yeah,
I mean, if it was designed specifically as circumvention tools, yeah, they would get shut down by the law.
One
It's
of the
interesting
tools
that this is trying to
explicitly
reclassify
said,
that.
one of the tools explicitly mentioned is a circumvention tool that is technically illegal to use in the U.S. And if the creator did use that, then by all means get him on that. But making this the claim that using OBS, which I'll be honest, Twitch would fail, YouTube would go down. Anything that requires streamers to actually broadcast something live, they wouldn't be able to use that anymore because those tools would be made essentially jailable if you use them.
Here's what I am confused on. I watch a fair amount of YouTube, and I've seen these reaction videos. Now, there's one side where somebody claims to be doing reaction videos, and all they're doing is they're just reposting verbatim somebody else's content and getting the views for it. Okay.
Yep.
And I
my
get the
favorite
fact
ones are the
that,
ones where they're just making noise just to make noise.
and they're getting the clicks and the likes and the subscribes and the whatever and the monetization from it because it's a fair use. I mean, and they've done something. Well, here's the other thing too, is that there are those out there where they've done something to try to fool the algorithm that detects copyright infringement. They speed it up a little bit, or they alter the audio just a little bit, or they put some kind of a video artifact
line in the middle
in there to disrupt the scanner to not be able to recognize the frames or so, it's something. And you can clearly tell it's like, okay, you obviously have ripped this from somebody else. But there are times where it makes me go find the original video. So I'm sure it doesn't always happen, but I'm sure there is some percentage where people came from, oh, we saw the ripped off video, we wanted to come find the original and watch it and see what it really is. What's the real video? On the other hand, there are some reaction videos where some people clearly are doing a very well thought out, scripted, edited, produced reaction video with commentary to, draw more attention to the issue or to draw more attention to this particular event or whatever it is. And to me, it appears that they follow the Fair Use Act. Like, I know that some parts of the Fair Use Act is like you can only use X number of continuous seconds or no more than a certain percentage without, giving credit or something like that. And so those I think should be very much protected because those are just as valuable to watch as the original itself. And it keeps a discussion going. It keeps conversation going for some of those topics, And so this is where it gets down to like, yeah, we're really starting to hammer on constitutional fundamentals of, don't open Pandora's box here because you might not like the result. It would be really hilarious that if this guy won, and then it turns around and bites him in the butt because now half the videos that he's got on his channel suddenly now, oops, I forgot about all those that I made where I used somebody else's content or I filmed something that, and with the computers today, like with the
From the
technology
sign on the
these
side of the road.
yeah, the technology these days, like you can get a copyright violation even though like a song was sung not by the original artist, not with the original backing vocals, not with the original musical score, but it still recognized enough of the tune to know, oh, that's a copyrighted song. I'm going to flag you there for a possible copyright infringement, you know? And it's like, so if somebody happens to be, you know, playing their radios, a car that drives by or something, that's going to get flagged. Does that mean that he gets shut down now because he's a violator? I don't know. And
how funny would it be? Just to throw this out there, Mike, how funny would it be if one of the buildings used one of those paid for fonts, those very heavily copyrighted fonts?
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta
Like,
toss
oh,
something
we
out there, Mike.
detected. Yeah. Go ahead.
So one of the greatest compliments I ever got was from the YouTube automatic detection system. So I occasionally would do some karaoke streams, and I would cut out the music and just have the audio from me uploaded. And it tagged the entire length of one of the songs that I was singing in there. And it's just like, well, I didn't know I sung it that well. So there are things out there that are automatically checking these things. And yeah, it's...
You know, a flip side to this too is that, and it's almost a whole other topic, because there was a channel I was following. It hasn't been in my feed lately, so I don't know if it's because the algorithm has shifted to present different things that I seem to be following more or what. But you know, of people who are trying to point out, for lack of a better word, like digitally created or digitally altered or digitally perfected, I guess I could put it that way, digitally perfected content, whether it's music or video or whatever it is that, we talk about, you look at a magazine cover, well, yeah, well, that photo's not real. She was airbrushed and photoshopped to look perfect, to catch your eye and everything. And so now it's like taken a step further to be pointed out that now we have tools that allow video content to be airbrushed or photoshopped to perfection, so that you can look at a creator and somebody can be critical of them and say, well, that's not how they really are. They're not really that buff. They're not really that toned muscle-wise, or they don't really sing that well, or whatever it is. It's all digitally enhanced, And it's like, good grief, like we're spending all this time pointing fingers, and of course it's what society likes is a good controversy,
Like the best part of all this, by the time this gets resolved, it's going to go to the Supreme Court. So that's going to take a lot of time.
I hope if it does, I hope they rule in the right direction.
Well, and this one's going to challenge everything from the rule. What is it? Section 240?
230, you mean? Safe harbor?
230. Yeah, safe harbor. It's going to challenge that. It's going to challenge. If this was easy, YouTube would have a policy that includes this. This is not an easy thing. So it's going to dance across the line, because if this auditor had the right to film people, then a reactioner has the right to film the auditor filming people.
A reaction to it. And I don't know if there's a way to program the algorithm to evaluate a video, a chat GPT kind of like AI that can watch the whole video and determine, was this a legitimate reaction? Was it well-made content? Or was this just a ripoff of, I'm going to call it a reaction video, but I'm really just going to play 2 hours of my favorite movie, and get the clicks and likes and subscribes for it,
You'll love this one. There was a guy that I wish I remember what fight it was, but it was like a boxing match, and he put it on screen, and then he put himself with the controller playing, just air pushing buttons, not doing anything, like he was doing one of the boxers
Playing the game.
and he played the entire fight, and it wasn't taken down because it looked like he was playing a game.
But that's just it, is that we can't have laws that are going to end up stifling creativity. Like, that's totally creative. That's brilliant, you know?
Yeah,
And
he's doing a
I would
skit.
find that somewhat entertaining, you know, because someone thought of a way to entertain us that maybe somebody else hadn't thought. And so in that sense, that's an original idea to me.
Could you imagine throwing a tantrum in the middle of that? Just like your guy falls down. It's like, I can't believe this computer did that to me.
Stupid controller.
Battery died.
The real way to do it is you put some pretty heavy bets on the game, and then you get a real, more genuine reaction when something doesn't go your way.
Did you hear about the Super Bowl streaker?
Oh yeah,
I missed that,
years
but
can do it.
yeah.
And I think
Go
it's
on.
even
Okay.
I'm doing it.
So this guy went on a victory lap. Speaking of great ideas, he went on a victory lap. He talked to his buddies, and they all got on to the same idea of, you know, the betting markets like Polymarket and stuff like that. There was 750 to 1 odds that a streaker would hit the field. So he laid down some serious cash that some streaker would hit the field and do this. And he won his bet, 750
Decided
to 1.
to manifest his destiny there, huh?
And not keep it quiet. Like, he went on talk shows and he bragged about this. So him and his buddies that all threw in, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of winnings. Yeah, it got rescinded. Rebates given to everybody. And I think there's some criminal action coming against the guy now too.
That
So
strikes me as Pete Rose level of dealing.
right?
Well, there's a lot of, I mean, along those lines, it'd take like a whole podcast episode to go over it. But I mean, the whole craze around prediction markets is worth talking about, just because of how crazy it is that we've now normalized betting on anything and everything, and things that previously were kind of regulated as like what you could bet on. With the prediction markets, as they're calling them now, as it's now kind of like open season.
It's such an interesting model too, because you don't have a back room full of statisticians coming up with, well, okay, so New York Giants are this and San Francisco is this, and so when they fight, you know, whatever that is, the matchup is not parsed out. It's people betting on real world things, and the system figures out the odds. It's just
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
it is really interesting, yeah, and because we found out that if enough people bet on it, you'll actually have the exact like odds, pretty much, that things will happen, or like usually the masses get it right, like when it comes to elections or you know whatever it is. Like the election, I think it was just the last election, and it was all the news was predicting Biden or whatever, and then if you looked at the prediction markets, it was clearly Trump, and lo and behold, and so it's pretty funny when you think about that, and I'm sure there's a lot of data science to be done on that as to why that is, but it seems like the masses are usually correct.
What does that affect? Artie, do you know what I'm talking about? Where you take a sampling of people and they all give the random guess and it ends up being correct.
Blind luck.
Mandrel effect. No, there's an actual like Mandrel effect.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called either.
Oh, I got to look that up now. But it is fascinating. Like if you have 100 people guess how many jelly beans are in a jar, you'll get the answer. No one person will give you that answer, but all of them will give you the answer.
I don't know. I remember the time that you did it mathematically. You counted all the jelly beans across the bottom and then how many jelly beans went up to the top. Then you did the math for the space, and you were like spot on. And you won the jar full of jelly beans.
Wisdom of crowds.
Mm.
It's called the wisdom of crowds. So
Can you say someone has been blessed with the wisdom of crowds?
they've been touched by the crowd.
They've been touched.
That's not the kind of
Yes.
crowdsourcing we wanted.
He has the gift of the crowd.
But maybe it is. You know, maybe it is. Okay, so let's kind of pivot using that wisdom of the crowd, but we're now hitting AI. So what does that mean? So who remembers ClawdBot, which is now called something else?
Is this not to be confused with Claude by Anthropic?
So that's why they changed their name to Moltbot.
Okay.
The what?
This is the crab one, right?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
They
So,
changed it to molt, like a crab molts its shell.
mhm.
Ever evolving.
Yep.
Hmm.
So it
Go on.
kind of took off and had multiple generations, multiple iterations, and it happened really fast. It wasn't in the public consciousness 3 months ago, and now everybody can't live without it. I've seen some cloud-sourced, cloud-based resources where you could go spin up your own. It would run on a Mac Mini, or you could buy some cloud space and just run it there.
I haven't heard of it. I'm just looking at it. Is this would we classify this as an agentic AI?
Some
'Cause from
could.
their-
You could probably mistake it as one.
From the front page, it seems like they're marketing it as one.
Yeah. So you ask it questions and it goes and does things. It's like a butler, like a Jarvis kind of thing. But I don't know. It's just moving fast. I don't know where we could predict what's going to happen in the next 3 months, because 3 months ago this thing wasn't even known. 6 months ago probably wasn't even fleshed out in any real way.
You would be correct. The project is stated to have started in November of 25, so it's not even half a year old.
Wow.
Not even a quarter-year old.
Okay, it was originally published, so they were working on it before then, but yeah.
And it's gone through multiple generations, renames, and wide adoption. I mean, it's moving really, really fast. Who's going to guess it'll be obsolete in 6 months and replaced by something else that's even better? And then that will be obsolete in very short order by something better.
So something to note on this, the guy that created it, just last week, he's going to be joining OpenAI, and the project is going to be moving to an open source foundation.
Yep. And then I will download and play with it. I like the open source model. All this AI stuff should be open source, should not be closed source. Like it scares me how fast we're moving at it, but there's other nation states in the world that are moving just as fast with their own agendas. If we don't have tools, somebody else will, and I don't know how to handle that. If we show up to the battle unarmed, we got to have some of these tools.
EMP, that'll take care of it.
That's it. I'm going back to paper and pencil.
Okay, then fire.
No, it's interesting, and I'm also watching some pushback on some data centers too. Mentioned this in the lead-in on this. there's a town, New Brunswick, New Jersey. The town council put in a line item talking about a data center. Just little footnote, little mention. We're going to approve a data center, and there was a dozen other things on the agenda, and it's like, well, we'll just go through this and we'll approve this and this and this and this. And it was an extremely compressed timeline that this data center would come in. So it was last minute announced. So everybody in the council would say, yeah, sure, let's do this. And then you'd break ground 10 days later, some ridiculously short time. Some very engaged people, some civically minded people were paying attention to these announcements and saw a data center, 27,000 square feet. And it was an extremely vague, open-ended data center. Let's maybe do this. No specificity, no clear finish line, no clear constraints, no clear payback to the town. And so they showed up to the town council to ask the question. I want to celebrate a moment where people started asking questions, saying, what's in it for the community? You know, there's no long-term jobs. There's a handful of long-term jobs, but it's not the long-term. It's short-term contract to build a place, construction. Great, let's do that. But a year into the project, everybody's done, and you have a couple dozen people employed with low-paying tech jobs. It's not the promise that we were given with these AI data centers. The taxes, a lot of these data centers are getting tax breaks. A lot of these data centers use a lot of water. It's misrepresented. It's all over the place, sure, but it uses water. How much? That's only the data center knows how much water is actually being used.
Mm-hmm.
Electricity, it's just sucking up a lot of electricity. It's making a lot of noise. It's making a lot of public space get gobbled up or private space get purchased.
Often
We're
the
starting to see
methods
some
of
pushback.
which they're getting this energy to is not, I think, is violating a lot of regulations. Because a lot of places where they've got these data centers up, the power grid can't support it. So they have these mobile turbine generators that are powered off of natural gases, and it nothing's been really pulled through the courts yet, but it seems like they're violating a lot of these local laws and regulations regarding natural gas output and pollution.
Something else that I was
Yeah,
looking at was that a few states at least are looking at implementing regulations regarding data centers or AI-related building projects. The one I was just looking at, Florida, is looking at implementing regulations to prevent them from going up without any oversight.
I would love to see civic engagement on these things. Just, what's in it for the community? Well, the punchline is on this one. The community got the project shut down, and the community got the council to approve a park, mostly paid for by the company that was going to build the data center. Because the data center bought all that property, and they now have to give it back to the town. So, power to the people.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right in putting a word of caution out. We aren't sure yet what these data centers, what the long-term impact is, and this AI bubble that has, been blown up is requiring a lot more to be built, and not a lot of questions are being asked, I don't think, to really see, okay, is this what we actually want? Is this good for the community? And all of those questions that you brought up.
Yeah, the AI bubble, we're inflating this to something it could be. There's a promise, but nobody's been skeptical of it, saying, "Are you sure?" Nobody's run it through the ringer. And our economy is inflated so much because of that. It could pop, and it could be devastating if it does. I hope the promise is there. I hope it delivers on the promise. But when there's such deception getting us to that starting line, I'm concerned. It's there's no taxes coming back. There's no jobs coming back. There's no water coming back to the community. It's all evaporating. To what quantity? Don't know. Let's get some oversight. I'm not advocating for government oversight and everything, but oh my goodness, there's a balance between regulation and free market.
Mm-hmm. It literally feels like those alien movies, where the aliens show up and they're just here for the resources. That's what these data centers feel like. They arrive, they plop down, and they suck all the energy out of the grid. They suck all the water out of the lakes and the rivers, and then they're gone.
And I've
So
got
it's
this
like,
vision of a data center lifting off and taking off into space to go find some other unsuspecting planet.
just like Kung Pao, right?
Right.
I'm still reminded. I said it in another broadcast we had, but the movie 300, when Xerxes sent their representative to the Spartans saying, "We just want your land and your water." The guy says, "No, this is Sparta," and kicks him into the pit of death. The land and the water. I mean, it's valuable resource. Again, let's have the conversation. Let's think this through. Let's make sure the benefit is worth the cost. But I don't know. I'm loving that there's some victories in communities against big outside influences that are not being totally transparent. That's why I like the idea of the age verification. Let's get some outside in the scrutiny on this. Sunlight is the ultimate sanitizer.
If your company has had a data breach in the last year, you cannot run ID checks. Let's put it there. Because none of the companies would be able to do ID checks.
Ever. If any of your executive team has been part of a company in a decision role that has been part of a data breach, you're disqualified.
Well, I'm going to start a new company.
No companies are going to be able to do that. Because I cannot think of a single company that has not had a data breach.
And that's the point, right?
Point taken. I was being dense.
If a company can't guarantee the sovereignty of their data, that it's contained and untouchable, they shouldn't be responsible for any data. I gotta finish this one up. So there was an Amazon outage end of last year. Did you guys hear what the cause was?
No.
So Amazon has employed, what was it, Zolt? Oh gosh, I'm going to say it wrong. It starts with a Z. It's 4 letters. It's an AI bot that was doing some coding for them and implementing code. And they didn't give it the proper guidelines and guardrails and checks and balances. They just let it do it and shut Amazon off for 13 hours. All of AWS was down for 13 hours because AI made a mistake.
It's like no one reads the news, or no one has any inkling of any idea that these things happen, because they just keep happening. And it's like the company's surprised every single time. The AI did something wrong? What?
Remember,
let's start with 3 laws.
Upper management is never wrong.
And then all you get is
Middle
a
management.
sorry, not sorry, not our fault.
Middle management will be replaced by the AI.
That's a good thought to leave the episode on.
Yeah. Doom and gloom. If you're still with us, please put a comment. Tell us what you think the future is going to look like. Love to see where that conversation goes. I also love to see if this episode gets more than, a dozen views. So please like this. I would love to see the likes outstrip the views. I guarantee you our views are disappearing. I'm watching it disappear in our YouTube studio. But I don't know if that's going to make the algorithm even more mad at us for this episode. So if it's still around, please interact. See if we can hack the algorithm to share this video out more. Till next time, I'm John.
And Mike.
I'm Jackson.
And I am going to go get that cheeseburger.
Enjoy the cheeseburger. Make sure to get fries and a Coke. Take care, everybody.